Well, I was born during the Depression. My folks, we had no car. We had horse and buggy that they drove to church, and we weren't the only ones with a horse and buggy.
To me, there was no depression. I mean, it was a way of life. Because those around you were the same. And living on a farm, we were fortunate compared to the others because we always had plenty to eat.
But it was hard for the parents rather than for us like me. We never had the money in our pockets like these kids today, but we didn't need it. Didn't go nowhere. Didn't need it. Maybe a penny for a sucker, nickel for a candy bar, something like that, but all that made it home.
Well, like I said, if you didn't have much, you made do with what you had, and it was just, like I say, everybody was pretty much the same way.
Well, just like everybody else, no money. Jobs were hard to come by, very hard. And it was difficult.
We moved a lot because we didn't own a house. Daddy hadn't ever been able to buy a house, so we lived where we found a rental house.
It was a good life. I thought my dad was kind of rough, making me do things when I was a kid. But it's good for you.
It was survival of the fittest.
When Hoover was president, that was what I call the Depression. And then Roosevelt was elected and I think he took over in 1933. And then things started improving somewhat.
Actually, I always figured that the Depression actually lasted up to into President Roosevelt's regime. In fact, my dad always gave Roosevelt the credit for breaking the Depression, because here they both ran through down. Well, my dad really liked Roosevelt, and I think he's right. And he always felt that Roosevelt was the man that brought the nation out of the Depression. But then at the same time, you also got a war that got started. And that put a lot of people to work and service and everything.
So we went to the independent school from the first grade through sixth grade. Can't remember. Anyway, might have been the sixth grade. I started out at Maple Grove it was the third grade that we moved. And I went to Maple Grove School then to the sixth grade, and then in Lincoln School here in town in the seventh and eighth grade.
We did an awful lot of walking. And I went mainly to Denny Blade. If it was 2 miles from home, we walked. If it was more than 2 miles, we could ride the bus. So I wore out a lot of pair of shoes walking to school. That's where I was in first grade. And a lot of the the people that I know now, I remember from school days. Well, I guess the most is that you didn't buy a lot of new stuff. You used used stuff. And the people of the church would give us their old winter coats, and Mama was enough of a seamstress, she would cut them up and make us a winter coat. So if we got anything brand new, we thought we had done well. So, and that was not unusual. That was the way it was for everybody. And so that's just the way it was.
Basically, the only time we got new clothing, that's what you got at Christmas. Most of what you got at Christmas. And occasionally, when you start school, you'd end up with a new pair of shoes.
So we always had good clothes for Sunday and our everyday clothes. So,
And we always had some new clothes for school, and like I said, she sewed, and we'd look at the catalog and pick out what we wanted, what we liked, and she would make her own pattern and sew it.
no, we always had shoes. I didn't go barefooted much in the summertime. So we were blessed.
We had 2 pair of shoes, one for weekdays and one for church. And that was mainly, well, we didn't have money to buy shoes. And that was one thing that Mama didn't make, was the shoes. So we would get a new pair of shoes, or 2 new pair of shoes every year, usually. And,
Well, we always had food. Sometimes it was pretty lean. Potatoes, sometimes hamburger. Sometimes our mom will used to buy a big hunk of bologna and slice it and fry it up. But no, for the family man, the father had the headache and the depression, because he had to supply the food, which was hard to do.
We were just, you know, we were fine, we were happy, we had enough to eat, not what you would call balanced meals like the kids gotta have nowadays. Maybe we'd have a couple of pans of potatoes, maybe we'd have a big kettle of macaroni, but we weren't hungry.
Okay.
We didn't feel like we were being terrible bad off or anything. Like I said, we were happy.
we raised most of our vegetables. Well, we didn't have money to buy them.
Always raised a big garden, canned it, my mother did, and we always had chickens and milk and staples is what they had to buy. I can remember that if my dad would buy a box of cornflakes, that was a huge treat. But most everything was made. They butcher a hog, render the lard, put up their own meat.
We used to go out and roll tires on the street. The street was like a dirt road, but it was packed, or it was, might as well have been paved because it was slick. But we'd roll tires on this, and we'd play in big cattails, play hide and go seek. We'd play baseball, you know, with ourselves. Like I said, you got 6 kids, neighbor kids, and
Yeah.
made your own.
We played outside. There was a whole host of them, hide and seek, kick the can. Most of them, they're just old games, roll over and tub over. But it wasn't hard to get a gang of kids together to play baseball or go down to irrigation ditch for summertime. No, we had, I think us kids I really believe that I had more fun as a kid than my kids did.
Our swimming pool was an irrigation ditch. We couldn't afford money to go to town to the park to the pool, so we mud crawled.
Oh, like everyone else, you made your own fun. We played all the games, even up into high school. We'd have neighborhood parties with neighbor kids and play all the games that we had. It was all physical. And of course we had get-togethers inside too in the wintertime.
The one thing is that we couldn't just go to a movie. You know, movies were like 25 cents. But you had to get out and make that 25 cents.
For entertainment, we had a radio that had the big horn, you know, run by car battery and dry cell batteries.
Played hopscotch. Wore my shoes out and had holes in the yard that deep where I jumped in playing hopscotch. And we played tag. We made games amongst other kids.
I always had a job living on the farm. There was no pay. Well, there was when I got to the table. And the first money I got was probably an early teenager. And I drove a derrick team. And I had to take care of the team. And at that time, the work day was 10 hours. And I got 5 cents an hour. And but I improved the next year because then I got 10 cents an hour. But my dad did pay a little bit because when they had first they had Ford Day and then Fate Day, Carnival, you know. I always had a little money for that, but I always came home with it all. It was too scarce to spend on trivial things.
Well, maybe I don't show it, but I think that the kids were more appreciative of a job. They might not like the job. I got work jobs I hated. And I think I was working, so when I get out of this one, I can go back. But it was winter time. You couldn't find a job during the winter time, so I stayed with it. But there was a lot of jobs but it was more, I think it made me more appreciative of what I actually got. And I wonder why I have to have so much today.
You know, we didn't have much at home. I don't remember ever having a Christmas tree when I was a kid. And we didn't usually have presents. I remember one year we all got a doll, but usually no. My mother would fix up a little goodie bag for each of us, and that was our Christmas. And she'd try to make something a little special for, you know, the meal. That was it.
Yeah, we always usually got one toy for Christmas. And like one Christmas, we had a wooden coal stove, no electricity at that time. And Santa Claus left a chunk of coal in my dad's stocking for Christmas.
Well, we would go at the forest and cut our own Christmas tree. And that was always quite a deal. Sometimes there was snow and sometimes there wasn't. And my sister and I would decide what tree we want. And then he'd usually be too tall to fit in the house. So we'd have to cut the bottom of them off. But use the same Christmas tree stand every year. And, well, same Christmas tree ornaments.
We made ornaments in school, and we strung popcorn, made garlands out of popcorn that we, stove it with a needle and made strings. And
Oh yeah, we'd paper this and draw a picture and all that kid kind of stuff. Mama always put them on the refrigerator as if it was something extra special.
We weren't allowed to see the Christmas tree until after we ate breakfast on Sunday morning, and then Grandma, my aunt, my mom, they go clean up all the dishes that they were. They usually have big roast, they put that in the oven, they put a big pan of potatoes on the back end of the cook stove, then we could go in and look at the Christmas tree.
Our Christmas presents were usually made over clothes that Mama made for us. And they once in a while we would get a new toy, which would be very special because the folks, well, they didn't have the money to buy that kind of stuff. And she'd make cookies and cut out bells and moons and that kind of stuff.
Because my mother had 3 sisters and a brother, and we all lived in an area of about 2 miles. So Christmas, holidays, any excuse, family were all together, about 20 cousins to play with. So we kind of lived a sheltered life.
well, I think it made me more conservative, more conscious about saving, not spending a lot or wasting a lot. That gets kind of ingrained into you, And even though you could spend more now, you don't.